Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm very happy to have you here, guys. As you can see, today I want to cover some fragrances from Ahmed al Maghribi. I feel like pretty recently under one of my videos someone asked me if I could do a top favorites from this brand, and I was like, why not? Let me film a video, since I think it's a brand that deserves a lot more attention. But I feel like I have to make some disclaimers prior. So guys, even though I've tried a lot of their fragrances, I have to see when it comes to their latest releases, I am not familiar with them. I didn't test. I feel like Marj was the latest release that I've tested, and since then I saw that they came out with quite a lot of fragrances. So maybe some of these fragrances are from previous collections, but if you ask me honestly, I don't think it matters how recent or how old the fragrance is. I think it's about how it smells. I think it's about how it makes you feel and if you overall enjoy it or not. But yeah, with this in mind, don't expect to see into this video a lot of their latest releases, because you won't, because I didn't get a chance to test them. So anyways, now when it comes to Ahmed al Maghribi, I feel like especially a few years ago, I've noticed that if, let's just say, a good majority of Middle Eastern brands would come out with inspirations of different, let's just say, designer and niche fragrances, what made these brands stand out to me, and from testing more than dozen of their fragrances, was how oily the majority, I can't say that all of them, absolutely, but I have to say the majority of their fragrances felt very oily and concentrated and robust. If someone were to ask me what makes them stand out, I'd say this quality itself. How concentrated, how rich they are, how oily they are, how strong the majority of them are, and at the same time how affordable they are. And if you add that a lot of them have a beautiful presentation, I think it's like win-win-win, you know? Now, let me highlight some of my favorites. I have here 3 full bottles from them. And let's start with a fragrance that if someone would recommend me just one fragrance from this house, that I want to buy it as a gift, let's just say. I don't really know that person's taste that well, but I want to go on the safe route. I'd say go with Araak. So I changed a little bit the angle because I felt like it was a little bit too low. But let's go back to Araak. Like I've mentioned, if someone would ask me to recommend them one fragrance, I'd say for women, because I find this very feminine. For women from this brand, that's a versatile fragrance. That's a fragrance that you could dress it up, you could dress it down, you could wear it pretty much all year round. This could be a wedding fragrance, this could be a gym fragrance, this could be a date-night fragrance, this could be a casual running errands kind of fragrance. I think this is the fragrance. Hands down, I would recommend them. To me, the level of versatility this fragrance has is impeccable. I don't think it's the right word, but it is appreciated, let's just say. Now, to me, this fragrance, I've mentioned this, I feel like in every video where I was talking about it, but to me, this legit smells like the upgraded version of Good Girl from Carolina Herrera. So maybe if you love this DNA, or even if you don't, because I can't really say that I'm a die-hard lover of Good Girl from Carolina Herrera, but at the same time, you guys, I have a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine, and that fragrance smells magnetic on her, like, yes. But anyways, that's besides the topic. To me, this is a creamier Good Girl, so it's less airy, less woodsy, less anything, and it's more creamy, legit. This is so creamy that it comes across as milky creamy sometimes. I smell here a beautiful juicy pear with some sweet citruses in the background and florals, tuberose for sure, a little bit green but very creamy and decadent. And this, in a way, even though I've mentioned that it's such a versatile fragrance, but to me this feels somehow sensual and very womanly, if you ask me, you know? Yeah, beautiful fragrance. Think of the DNA of Good Girl, but much creamier, with a more amplified vanilla, with a very beautiful and decadent tuberose, but it doesn't lean granny style, that doesn't lean indolic by any means, you know? I don't think you can go wrong with such a fragrance, and longevity is amazing. It's very concentrated. If you spray it on your skin, it legit feels like it leaves an oil cast on your skin. If you spray it on your clothes, in your hair, everywhere where you spray this fragrance, this will stay. And speaking of concentration, let me just show you, because the only thing I don't like about it, I don't know why, but it starts to leak a little bit. Yeah, but let me show you. how concentrated this fragrance is. And you genuinely, because it's so concentrated, you don't need a lot, but if you do a lot, it's not suffocating in a negative way to me. Oh my god, let me just show you. Do you see? Again, it looks like I'm rubbing oil everywhere. Look. Now, moving on to the next fragrance. Look, I cannot do a video on this house and not mention this fragrance, even though it's not one of my most worn fragrances, but it's a fragrance that I want to have in my collection forever. This is called Bidun Esam, again from Ahmed al Maghribi, and again this is the 50 ml version. And this, you guys, this is, to me, rose, saffron, and a well done, robust, decadent oud accord in a bottle. Like, when I'm thinking of affordable rose oud fragrances that are worth testing, this automatically comes to my mind. Like, I couldn't ever do a video on affordable rose oud blends without mentioning this fragrance. Wow, you guys, oh my god, this is such a beautiful fragrance. The oud is the star of the show here, with the rose right in the background. And I also pick up saffron, you guys. The oud here does is a little bit funky, animalic, that type, you know, but it also has a rich woody undertone about it. For some reason, whenever I smell this fragrance, I remember when I was wearing it, I had a decant back then. I didn't even have the full bottle in my collection, but I was wearing it on one of the hottest days of summer when I was going. One of my best friends had her wedding and I was a bridesmaid, and I had to do all those dress fittings, dress alterations, and I was on the cab going and coming home with the dress. And I remember one of those days I sprayed this fragrance. I think I did 1 or 2 sprays, but the scent was intoxicating, you guys. Like, if you love traditional Middle Eastern leaning fragrances, if you want something that does justice to the world of Middle Eastern perfumery, that's not polished to so much around the edges, let's just say that it loses that kick that it has, that oomph that it has, I'd say test this fragrance, test it. Now, the feedback is either love or hate. I've had women telling me that this became their signature fragrances. I've had women telling me that they absolutely love it. But I also had women and men telling me that to them it smells absolutely horrible. So I don't know, you guys. I'm telling you the feedback I received, so you decide what you want. I would say test it for sure. Moving on to the last fragrance, the last full bottle that I want to highlight. This is called the Marj, and this, again, I think it was a 2023, 2024 release. No, 2023, I think. Couldn't have been 2024. Anyways, yeah, now this fragrance, I think it's that kind of fragrance that if you are a woman and if you love this kind of blends, it's that share it with your partner fragrance. I have this reaction because I absolutely freaking adore this DNA on my partner. This fragrance, Marj, Eba Gold from Junaid Perfumes, Khair from Paris Corner, these 3 fragrances on him, they smell amazing. But I feel like out of all the fragrances I've mentioned, this is the one that I could see myself rocking myself the most. But again, only when I'm in a very specific mood. I feel like this is that loud, beast mode, opulent fragrance, like all eyes on me, you know, that kind of fragrance. And I think you need the attitude to pull off such a fragrance. I also think you need the energy for such a fragrance, honestly, because it can be quite tiring and, I guess, why not overwhelming to wear such a fragrance when perhaps you're not in the mood. And the mood I have to be is in a bold mood. For sure, bold mood. I don't give 2 damns about my scent if it bothers you, if it doesn't bother you. I feel like I'm bold, I'm confident that day. I want something royal and opulent, and I want everyone to smell my fragrance. I feel like this is the mood I would reach for this fragrance. Yeah, this is such a beautiful leathery woody fragrance with some green accents from patchouli, touch of something citrusy, but also some sweeter notes that, let's just say, balance out those deeper, darker, more quote-unquote masculine leaning notes. I pick up the most beautiful flavored orange blossom water type of accord. So it's an orange blossom that feels sweet and concentrated, but it almost feels like a flavored water, you know? And honey, I pick up honey. Yeah, I feel like compared to other fragrances, this is more honey than sweet. Orange blossom forward than Eba Gold, for instance. I feel like some other interpretations of the DNA of Imperial Valley from Gisa or Gisa, I still don't know how to pronounce the brand. I feel like they are more, they're, let's just say, a little bit more masculine, you know? Whereas to me, this is right in the middle. And what I mean by this is, as I'm smelling it now, is the kind of fragrance that a woman, like I've mentioned, could pull it off when she's feeling bossy, when she's feeling bold, when she's feeling confident, you know, when she wants to make a statement with her fragrance. But also, let's just say your partner could wear this fragrance and it wouldn't smell feminine on him or anything like this. And believe me when I tell you, I am not one. I don't like to smell a lot of my fragrances on my partner, if you ask me. I have a very particular taste when it comes to the kind of fragrances I enjoy on him, and I feel like on men in general. But this is one that I would love on me just as much as I would love on him. I think it's a brilliant fragrance. I think it's a very creative and artistic, and again, quite a polarizing fragrance unless you have a taste for this kind of blends. But if you do have a taste for heavier, more decadent fragrances, more opulent, royal fragrances, I think it's worth testing it at least. Now, let me highlight some other fragrances that, even though I don't have full bottles of them in my collection, but I think they are beautiful ones to take into account. And I'm looking here because here I have the box with all my decants from Ahmed al Maghribi. Look, let me highlight one for men that personally I love it on the men, but I feel like the feedback I got on it again was pretty mixed, you guys. Some said they completely hated this fragrance, while others said that they loved it. Personally, I love this DNA on a man, but again, like I've mentioned, I have my taste when it comes to the kind of fragrances I prefer to smell on men, or even more so on my partner. This is called Hirfa, and this, look, again, I guess based on the feedback, it's either a you love it or you don't. This to me embodies a very specific flavor, a very specific energy and scent profile. This to me, you guys, this highlights a crisp, cooling and very layered lime bergamot combo to me. It's green, it's refreshing, it's icy cooling, it's citrusy green, a little bit woody, a little bit woody, with a beautiful dark oak mossy patchouli facets. I can see why some men wouldn't enjoy it. I think perhaps it's a bit more of a mature scent profile. And when I mean mature, I don't mean mature like 60s and up. No, I just mean mature, meaning that, look, I think men in their 20s could pull it off, but I think it's about, I don't know, it's about how you look, it's about the energy you exude, you know, it's just like with a very decadent fragrance for a woman, for instance, with a very decadent floral. Of course, you wouldn't picture that very decadent floral on the most angelic woman, you know, that looks and feels very innocent and angelic and delicate. I feel like the same goes with this fragrance. I would picture this fragrance on men who, let's just say, have more of a wild, raw masculinity, you know? I don't think, again, this is not the most polished fragrance for the most polished man, you know? Yeah, to me, if you ask me, I think it's a beautiful one to take into account as a man, but it depends your taste also. Now, another one I want to highlight, let me see where it is. So for some reason I don't have that decant here, but I will just add the fragrance here on the screen. Actually, two fragrances because they're from the same collection. The first one I know for sure it's called Instance from Ahmed al Maghribi, and that is their inspiration of Idol from Lancome. Now, even though myself I am not the biggest lover of Idol on me, but I'm telling you, if you love that scent profile, if you love that designer-esque rosy musky fragrance with something a little bit fruity, with a little bit of something vanillic, but make it very airy and breezy and light and effortlessly feminine and sophisticated, then Idol will definitely be your cup of tea. Even one of my mother's friends purchased that fragrance based on my recommendation, and she told me that she absolutely loves it, and I've received amazing feedback in general from women who bought Idol. So yeah, even though that's not really a personal favorite of mine, but that's one that's very well done and worth highlighting. And I feel like the other one from this collection, it's called Pure Wonder, if I remember correctly, and that is a dupe to Libre from Yves Saint Laurent. Now again, if you love the DNA of Libre from Yves Saint Laurent, I think it's worth looking into that blend. I don't have it with me now. See, maybe I should have looked for them, because I don't think I've covered that fragrance on YouTube. No, for sure I haven't covered it. If you're a woman and you want something a little bit more wearable, Love Story, the purple one. It's beautiful, fruity, musky scent. It smells like iced tea infused with red fruit. Lean, again, it's a beautiful fragrance if you love your designer fragrances, if you love fragrances like Lacoste Perfume, fragrances from think Gucci, think Giorgio Armani, but nothing too over the top, something very gentle and womanly and beautiful and soft and pretty and everything, but think everything in moderation. But very womanly. This would be a beautiful one to take into account. If you like Ahmed al Maghribi, in general knows how to do affordable wood forward fragrances very well. Think Marj, think Bidun Esam, think Ben Sheikh, think there are so many fragrances. Think Ain, think Kalema, which is a summery oud. They have a lot of fragrances made around oud, and they really know how to do oud. And I feel like what they really know how to do as well is florals. But I'd say here it depends a lot on your taste, because they have some florals that feel very Bulgari-esque, and they have some florals that feel very designer-esque, you know. They have some florals that feel very, not really vintage, but it's almost like it's an ode to the past in a way, you know. There's a fragrance, I think it was called Zuraik, if I remember correctly, that for some reason gave me similar vibes. Think of it, a little bit more of a modernized cinema from Yves Saint Laurent with something from Lancôme Poème, that vibe I'd say. So yeah, those are some of the fragrances I wanted to highlight in today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what are some of your favorite fragrances from this house. Let me know what fragrances stood out to you. Let me know if you have tried any of their latest launches. Let me know what you think about them. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I will see you in my next video, but until then I want to wish you an amazing day wherever you are. Bye.